going on, guys? I wanted to make this quick video and tell you about something that happened to me yesterday in a meeting, and this is something that I made a mistake on, and I thought I'll pass it on to you so you learn how I made this mistake and how I recovered from it while I was in that meeting. And the first thing that happened is when I went to the meeting, this was the second time I'm meeting that same prospect, and the main mistake I made was not asking if the owner is gonna be there, if he's gonna make it on time. And when I showed up to the meeting, the first thing that she told me was, "Oh, the owner couldn't make it. He's so sorry." Blah blah blah. And I was pretty much kind of disappointed because that was the whole purpose of me being in that meeting. And obviously, that meeting didn't really go anywhere that I planned to go. It was just her asking me a few more questions just to clarify the proposal, something that the owner had questions on. And overall, the whole meeting was pointless because the owner wasn't there. So that's mistake number one. Just triple check that the owner, the decision maker, can actually attend the meeting. And if not, then reschedule it because this is going to be a pointless meeting. So how did I recover from that? I mean, I'm already in the meeting. I'm already staying there. Like, I have the proposal in the folder. I have my notes open. How do I recover and make this into a useful meeting? So pretty much I went ahead with asking her more questions just to clarify anything that I might have had, questions on top of what she asked. And some of the questions that she asked was, how do we stand out? So, like, obviously generic questions just to ask something because we're already in a meeting. And when she asked that, the first response I gave her that we don't just normally take every other project. We try to build a client relationship with all of our clients long term, not just one project and the next one, right? So we try to really grow our reputation and client base. And when we try to really work with the client long term, we actually care about what they want to get done and not just care about the volume just to get it done and over with. And I could tell that she's smiling, nodding, and this is the answer she wanted to hear, which is awesome. And later, when she asked me how, like, a few more questions, I pretty much asked her back, out of all the vendors that you got there, what is the proposals that you received and what did you like? And she was honest. She said, "Hey, look, your quote is 18 grand. We got most of the proposals from the other vendors at 15 grand averaging, right? So our proposal was on the higher end." And I was happy with that. I was like, "Hey, this is great. If our proposal is on the higher end, that means we are perceived as a higher value. We're perceived as we do better quality work, and we are perceived as a more expensive brand, which is totally fine. Nothing is wrong with that." Now, at that point, she was pretty much hinting at if we can reduce it to 15 grand, the owner is going to be willing to swallow the cost. And in my head, I was like, well, first of all, because the owner is not there, which is my mistake, he's not able to see the value and he's swallowing a cost. Like, is not looking at it as an investment. This is the part that I could have changed his mindset and made him understand that this is an investment and not just him spending money down the drain just to get something built. So from that point on, I pretty much wanted to hear from her what did the other vendors offer as value to get the project done, not just the 15 grand, because value of money, that's one thing, but value of the service that they're going to provide is totally another one. So she pretty much said how the others were talking about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and she was the one to say how all they talked about is how we're going to do this and we use this technology and our technology is the best, me, right? And nothing about the customer and how the customer needs are and what they're going to do for the customer. So that pretty much went really well with what I told her earlier about how we focus on the customer and their needs. And all of our proposal was based on how we're gonna help her and the company grow. And literally, that's based on the notes that I took from the meeting I've had with her the first time. So the entire proposal is literally centered around them, how we're gonna grow them, how the target audience is there, like which target audience they have, how we're gonna help the target audience, and so on. So pretty much the whole proposal is catered towards showing them that we care and we are going to do and help them with the revamp, right? So I could tell that alone was a valuable feature for them, like the fact that we actually care to work with them long term, not just care about volume. She even mentioned how the other company was clearly all about volume when she researched them. They have very large amount of reviews, very large amount of websites that they built, but their own site is horrible, and she could tell that, she could get the vibe from them, right? So now it comes down to pretty much figuring out what's gonna happen next, right? We're charging 18, the other companies are offering 15. And obviously, I didn't flinch, didn't budge to reduce. Like, hey, for sure, let's reduce 3 grand and let's just get it done, right? But at the same time, it comes down to what do we want to do from here. Like, I want to hear from the owner. I want to speak to the owner next. Whether or not we're gonna reduce the price is not clear yet, because we have mentioned that we can adjust the scope to fit the budget, right? But I believe that everything in the scope is what they want and need. So I wouldn't necessarily want to reduce the scope. I want to make sure they understand what we're gonna do for them and how we're gonna do it. And the way I'm gonna achieve that going forward, after making my mistake and not following up with the if the owner gonna be there or not, is try to get a meeting, third meeting with the owner. Try to get a phone call with the owner just so I can hear him out, see what he thinks, he feel like just the vibe in general, and go from there essentially. So guys, if you like what I just discussed, make sure you comment, tell me about what mistakes you make in meetings, and like the video.